Hello. I've never picked apart a trailer like this before, and I'm unlikely to do so again anytime soon. This is just a special exception because I love the Fallout games. Having now lost count of the number of times I've watched the trailer, I'd like to present my views, opinions, and theories in a little segment I am calling Fan Fervor for Fallout 4. Or for short, Fallout 3 was my first foray into the series, which will irk some people who have followed it from the start, especially purists who were up in arms at 3 being first person. I did go back and play around with Fallout 1 and 2 simply because I really like the game world and the fiction behind it, but the early titles have dated. Despite having excellent narrative, they're just not as smooth to play as the first-person incarnations, and you just can't convey the sense of vast desolation that the title requires from a fixed, top-down isometric view. First-person just permits a greater sense of place. You can see the outlines of distant structures which provide overwhelming motivation to explore the vast game worlds presented in Fallout 3 in New Vegas. Anyway, I'm not here to discuss the past, I'm here to look at the future, and roll around in its irradiated goodness like a two-headed pig in mud. The first third of the Fallout 4 trailer builds drama by giving us the traditional zoom-out of a presumably nuclear-powered television. Brief flashbacks to the past and the 200-year-old radio broadcast give a nice chilling sense of impending doom. Hints as to what we'll actually experience in the game don't really kick in until after Ron Perlman utters the famous line. Then we get bombarded with stuff. Vault 111 is somehow involved. It's heavily hinted that we're going to be playing the role of another dweller. Our exit from the vault doesn't look to be through clambering out some nondescript hole in the ground, though. 111's front door looks to be more like some kind of vertical shaft that we're going to be raised out of. The developers have added way more colour to this title than we saw in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, which both had a palette of greys and browns. It was never something that bothered me. I always felt it added to the relentless ash and broken nature of the wasteland. The pinks and cold blues we see here immediately made me think of Destiny's Cosmodrome, another post-apocalyptic ruin that gamers have been allowed to wander in recent years. I can't help but wonder if Bethesda was influenced by Bungie's efforts. Fallout 4's setting is confirmed as Boston thanks to the various monuments that show up. I don't know a damn thing about Boston. Movies tend to be the root of most people's knowledge of foreign geography, so Fallout 3's capital wasteland felt weirdly familiar as I'd seen Washington, D.C. reduced to rubble a number of times. Boston? I think we spent a little time there in National Treasure, but if I'm honest, I spent most of that movie leering at Diane Kruger. Reading up on the landmarks provides us with a useful guide as to the exact area we may be exploring in Fallout 4. Using the State House as a rough center point, this map covers roughly the same sized area as Fallout 3's capital wasteland. I think it unlikely that Bethesda would reduce the size of the game's overworld, but they may expand it. So I think it's safe to assume this will be the minimum range we can wander before a notice pops up telling we can't proceed further. After a brief glimpse at the Starship Constitution, we get to what I think is the most interesting shot in the trailer. Most people seem to be focusing on the figure at the center who may or may not be the mysterious stranger. You know, that chap who shows up and shoots bad guys in the head for you in previous games. My interest is more in the sign to the left. Memory Den. Now, this trailer was made using game assets, which means pre-war structures, such as those seen at the start, have been built. It'd be an awful shame not to use them. I think at some point in the game we're going to spend some time in a virtual version of pre-war Boston. Maybe just areas seen by a long-dead pair of eyes. The whole concept of a memory den reeks of Total Recall, the good one. It could be some dubious place where you can experience other people's memories, or where you can absorb other people's talents and skills. Or it could just be a shitty bar with a bunch of pre-war junk nailed to the wall. A parade of environment shots follow, hinting further at a much larger overworld. There's a lot of variety. Brahmin-trod wilderness, ruins of the region's transport infrastructure. Some have suggested that these guys are in power armor, but I'm not sure. In silhouette they look a bit like super mutants. We have the outskirts of what I think is Boston proper. I love that new I can't pronounce the fucking word. Protectron. Protectron. Yeah, that's it. He looks like some sort of enamel-coated kitchen appliance. It's awesome. What else we got? The waterfront with some weird nippy thing. Here. This is a bit more what I think of when talking about post-apocalyptic stuff. Brown and horrid. There is no way this region will be anywhere near the stuff we saw earlier. I'm thinking this is far to the southwest of the map. Depending on exactly how large the overworld is, I can't see anything in the direction of New York coming through World War III in good shape. iBots return too, hinting at the return of an old enemy, but it's really this Zeppelin that makes me think that the Enclave has a presence here. It doesn't strike me as the kind of thing that the scientists hiding out at the Institute would build. It looks decidedly foreign to the glittering settlement we've seen thus far. And the color scheme is identical to that of the Enclave base and equipment we witnessed in Fallout 3. One of the final images from the trailer that has people chatting is the power armor in the garage. Don't waste your time getting hyped up over this. I don't think it means a damn thing. The comics, the bobblehead, the guns, the armor, it's just an orgy of familiar objects gathered together to make a nice still shot. There are no clues here as to Fallout 4's content. The chap from 111 talking, on the other hand, could be a big deal. There are 4 possibilities. Possibility 1, there is no voice. The character is mute as always, they just had him say, "Let's go, boy," as a nice way to end the trailer. Possibility 2, we are given a set character from the get-go. The core narrative could be very character-focused. Possibility 3, we get a selection of set characters, each of which has their own route through the game. Possibility 4, they've taken the Saints Row option and allowed us to select a voice to go with the character we create. I'm really hoping it's not a set character. With Fallout 3, it felt like it was me wandering the wasteland. It made the whole experience feel more immersive. Games like Grand Theft Auto have been ruined by designers deluding themselves into thinking they're Martin Scorsese. A beautiful open world is created and then you're forced on a specific path through it because someone in charge wishes they were a filmmaker. I have very high hopes for Fallout 4. I've really not been this excited about an upcoming game release for a very long time. I've certainly had no reason to invest in any new gaming hardware recently. That may change if they announce a 2015 release date for Fallout 4 at E3. Fingers crossed!